So we're here together at last in Pune in India, starting our new jobs at Wellington College International. It's all very new for me. This is my first time teaching in international college and I'm very excited. But I know, Charles, that you do have experience of teaching in international college. Where were you?
Yeah, that's right. So before here I was working at Wellington College International in Hangzhou, close to Shanghai.
Oh, close to Shanghai, I see. And how long had it been running? Because we're obviously founding.
By the time I arrived, it had been open for 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's open for 5 now.
Okay. And what age did you teach?
I taught in grade 1 and grade 2, so they were 7 and 8.
Okay. And I know that we're embracing the sort of global education. From your experience of what we've already looked at to start teaching this year, how is that different from China?
Well, whenever you open a new school in a new country, there's going to be cultural differences and things that you need to adapt to and things you need to learn about in order to make the education pertinent to those of which you are going to be teaching to. So inevitably there's going to be changes, but the core philosophy of the Wellington values and what we want to deliver is fundamentally the same.
Yeah. Okay. This is all very new to me, and I'm learning it. But I'm looking forward to becoming a global citizen myself, but also to helping the children on their way to becoming that. Looking at how we can help them prepare to move forward into a world that's challenging, but needs people who can be critical thinkers.
Yes, I think that's really, really important what you've raised there, because the world is rapidly changing. I mean, as we go forward, it gets more and more different from the year before. So what we really look for is giving children the skills they need to thrive in a changing world. So having the skills to tackle the problems of tomorrow, today.
Yeah, and I think that's what excited you about coming here, wasn't it? Coming from the UK, and coming into being able to teach in that very holistic way, so that children did have a very broad understanding of where their place is in the world.
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the things that I'm really excited about in the junior school is being able to use the UK national curriculum but to put it in a more global perspective. I think as we've all been looking at the curriculum, we've all got lots of really exciting topics that we are able to connect to lots of different places in the world, and it might be that we've worked and lived there or that we've got experience, but also the children coming in are going to have lots of experiences to bring to that. So yeah, really excited about that opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to be teaching year 5 and 6, and I'm really interested in how we're approaching things like history and geography and different cultures. So we're going to look back over ancient civilization, but not just as a single entity, how that changed from interactions from the rest of the world, why those societies and why those communities built up where they were. And I know you're doing rivers, aren't you? And my memory of rivers when I was at school is you just learnt that they meandered and made oxbow lakes, but I know really exciting that you're going to look into something a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to look at the rivers and their basis in establishing civilizations and societies and cities, and seeing, you know, how geography impacts the development of people.
And that we then are able to bring into it all things like the arts and music, and looking back both at ancient civilizations, looking at civilizations or societies that are closer to our time in history, and how they express themselves through art, through music, how we know about those things. So I'm doing Mayan civilization and really interested to show the children how we know about people who lived all that time ago, who lived over 2,000 years ago, how we know what it is that's important, the fragments that we find, and how we can take those fragments of civilization and begin to understand how the world was and how those people lived in the world, and how that then connects to how we live in the world, but how we want to live in the world in the future. So I think, for me, really excited that we take this holistic approach that we've been asked to do in Wellington, to give children the same curiosity and openness to finding out about the world that they live in. Not just teach them to read and write and do some maths, but actually what the impact of those things, what the impact of what they're doing is to themselves, to their families, to the wider community, and then hopefully globally as leaders as they come through. So I know that community engagement's really important to do that, and I mean we've all experienced that as teachers, but there's something very special about that community involvement as a member of the Wellington family, because we have strong links back to Wellington College and where it was established in the UK. So I think we've all got to look back at that history and see how we've come to where we are now, and by doing that ourselves we help the children to understand how they've come to where they are. So I know that you've looked into Wellington history, haven't you?
Yeah, that's right.
Which is fascinating.
Yeah, we're going to be doing a topic looking at the history of Wellington when we first start, and I think it's really exciting to have already met people who have come from Wellington UK, Wellington China, Wellington Thailand, and to be able to have people around that we can, you know, not only myself but the children can talk to and find out about and experience, to feel that sense of community. I think that's really important, and I think will hopefully really shine through that there are a lot of links between all the Wellington international schools, and we're really fortunate to have so much experience there to draw upon. Did you find that similar when you were in China, that you had that sort of global perspective?
Yeah, I was really fortunate in that regard. When I joined Wellington Hangzhou, there was already 3 other schools established, so we had a big network of which to pull from, and many different people we could talk to about these things. We could always contact all the different schools, and we would have meetups, and we would share all of our different ideas and thoughts and have different tips, and yeah, it was really good experience.
Yeah.
So did the children get a chance when they were in China to visit other places and visit the other schools, or did you stay within just the school that you were in?
Under normal circumstances, yes. The children are often given opportunities of which to travel around and go to different Wellington schools, but sadly whilst I was in China it was during the COVID pandemic and the children weren't able to visit any of the schools. Yeah.
But I think there sounds like there's a lot of opportunity, under sort of typical circumstances in terms of like maybe sports and the arts, which is also really great, isn't it, in terms of that holistic approach. And
I think it's definitely gives that sense of belonging, that sense of family, and as you say, because it's across a whole range of areas within school life, it embraces everybody, it's inclusive to everybody, we're all pulled in for that. I mean, I know that I hope, and I hope when I taught in the UK as well, but I hope very much here that the sort of approach Wellington are going to take will transform these children's lives. We will be asking of them to really push their boundaries, to really be resilient, find and be curious about how far they can engage with the different areas of school life, and then wider than school life. I mean, I know that I'm going to be taking some of the children up to the Himalayas, which is very exciting, but how they approach that and the open-mindedness they might have about that, and the links that they can then create from that experience with the other areas that they're going to be learning about while they're here. So yeah, I'm very excited about that. I mean, I know that we won't be teaching necessarily art and music, but I know that we're already having conversations and finding links with the specialist teachers, so that the children, even if they're taught by different people, will see how holistic that is, how we're embracing them as a whole person, and all the skills that they'll learn and all the attributes that they have. We will hopefully be able to give them links so that they can see that through the books they read, will be linked to the science they do, will be linked to the visits that we may go and do, and the maths that they might need to use. So that's what I'm very hopeful about, that opportunity for them to learn how to express themselves and be curious about themselves and what they know. And I know that in the UK we try and embrace children and always put them at the centre of what happens. And I think here at Wellington they definitely are doing that. I'm very excited for it.
Yeah, likewise. I think, like you said, it's really exciting that we can really embrace the whole of the sort of curriculum and bring about all those different subjects, but linking them into the topics that they're learning about. We can work with the specialist teachers to really embed a lot of different skills, things that children might be interested in and not always get a chance to, always really work a lot on those different skills or subjects.
I mean, one of the big things that Wellington really focus on is child-centred learning, so making them the core of everything that we do, putting their interests first and then building out from there to give them a global perspective on what they're doing.
Yeah, and I think that's what's so good is you take every child is so unique. The child comes to you with such a unique range of experience just because of the families they've lived with, and obviously being international students, quite a few of them coming in, as well as the students who already live in Pune, that the broadness of their experiences, that we're able to take that and get them to recognise how important those are and how unique they are, and get them to see their potential. And that's what I really like about like the reading and the maths curriculum we've got to do, is that thing of, every child deserves to be given the opportunity to experience those really high level texts, those interesting stories, the maths that's going to make them really, really think and problem solve. And I like that the sort of the way the curriculum is designed is enabling us to do that, to bring all those children through, but at the same time balancing the uniqueness of them as human beings, knowing that they will come with experience maybe of already being a musician and something that they can then share with everybody else. So I'm really looking forward to teaching like that rather than just teaching individual subjects. And in a way it takes me back to how, when I was educated all those years ago, that was the sort of education that I was given, but without the sort of in-depth research that has now happened. So now we have the research to say that this is an effective way to teach children. It is effective in making them realise their potential, in making them realise that they can have a positive impact on the communities that they live in when they grow up. So very much looking forward to that.